Hello and welcome to the Rocky Mountain Carry chopping block. This is a series I plan on making anytime that I'm looking at getting rid of some of my collection. So these are the knives that are most likely on their way out. Thought it'd be a fun way to just talk about knives I'm getting rid of, why I'm getting rid of them, why, might help you if you're considering any of these knives, reasons why you might want, might not want them, or maybe me talking about them gives you a reason that they would be good for you in your collection. So I think every once in a while I get backed up with a ton of knives I don't need, and it's time to cut back, be a little bit more minimalist if possible. That's definitely not the way to describe my collection, but this is my first time doing this, and it's probably high time that I cleared a little bit of room and make way for some new additions to the collection. Let's be honest, that's the real reason we're doing this here. So I'm just gonna go kind of one at a time here and talk about them. I guess the Sencut, this is the Scepter. It's a good knife. There's nothing really like super wrong with it. It's affordable. I like the shape of the blade. It's deep carry, Sencuts, all the stuff that kind of defines them. If you're unfamiliar, Sencut is the budget brand to Civivi, which is the budget brand to WE. So I think Sencut was kind of WE knife company's way of making sure that they didn't get undercut by somebody else, kind of like they undercut everybody with Civivi in the first place. So yeah, Sencut knives, I don't have a problem with them. They're great at the price point. This one's just not super exciting for me, and I think I've got other knives that fill this role well enough or better. And that will kind of be a theme, running through most of these knives, is that I just have something else that I'm doing the same thing with. This guy, I'll probably hand off to one of my nephews. It's just real simple, didn't cost me too much money. I think that he's getting to an age where he'll be safe with it. So these two, another reason I might have some of these knives is I just kind of got them for review. These are Byrd knives. This one is the Metallark, I believe. This one's kind of meant to imitate the Delica. So if you're unfamiliar with Byrd, they are basically clones that were approved by Spyderco. I think they own the rights to them. That's sort of what's going on here. It's just a less expensive alternative to a Spyderco design, basically, is what's going on. So as you can see, these aren't exactly the same. The main difference here being this kind of added finger choil area here. There's like a little bit of a guard here, so you can kind of choke up more easily. And I actually really like that about the Metallark, because it's a common theme in a lot of these Spyderco knives, is that they'll have that area to put your finger. So that's, for example, on the, if I can get it out here, the Native, is one example of that. A really great area to choke up on. And I love that about Spyderco knives. That's kind of missing in the Delica. So I kind of like that in the Metallark, if I'm being honest. But we'll go ahead and move back down here, I guess, because you can see them. I do actually kind of like that in the Metallark. Overall, though, I mean, the ramp on this one is a lot better. You still can choke up there. It's not a huge deal. And the quality, like here, it really does just feel better. The scales, for example, the design, if you look at the design on the Spyderco here, they feel a lot better in hand. These ones just aren't doing it for me. This FRN feels higher quality. And yeah, Spyderco, I mean, it looks better. It gets it's got the reputation, whatever that's worth. It's got the round hole, obviously, instead of the teardrop. So yeah, overall, I mean, a lot of times you get what you pay for, right? But if you don't want to pay for, you know, how Delicas, I mean, they're getting more and more. They're like $100 now. Spyderco prices really are ramping up. So I get it if you're looking for something to replace it. I don't hate this knife, honestly. It's 8CR, which is whatever. Easy to sharpen. It'll dull fast. The design is good on this guy. It's modeled after a very, very popular Spyderco. So anyway, that's the Metal Arc. Getting rid of it because obviously I have a Delica, so I don't need that one. And I have other beater knives that I would use first before I use this one. So it'll probably go. The reason I have it was to compare it and do a comparison video. I actually haven't done it yet, but this is January 2024, by the way. I don't think I even mentioned that. So this is a chopping block for January 2024 at the time of recording. So same story, obviously, with the other bird here. This is the Robin, I believe. And it clones the... If I go in too much detail here, I'm not even going to be making the comparison video that I was planning. Robin. There's this Dragonfly. So you can see the similarities there. Same thing, obviously, it doesn't have a wire clip. It looks pretty similar. The ramp, once again, is going to be better on the Dragonfly. The materials are going to be better. This is VG10 as opposed to 8CR. The G10 feels a lot better in hand. It's lighter. So the bird actually feels much more substantial, which is, if you like that, I guess it's heavier. It's weightier. And there's that. Overall, though, I mean, I just like the Dragonfly better. Once again, have these for that comparison video that eventually we'll do. The action on this thing is horrible. It's atrocious. I bought it used. So it might need some TLC, but just really bad. Speaking of used knives, this is the Kaiser Dukes. I really like the handle on this thing. I think it's really cool looking. And I wanted to try this at one point. And yeah, this was my first experience with a used knife. The action was really gummed up when I got it, but it was easy enough. I actually just cleaned it out and it was fine after that, after just one rinse with water. You can see the blade is pretty beat up, but not a bad knife. VG10. Not a bad knife, but once again, it's just like, I have so many knives that fit that same bill, so why? CJRB Feldspar, good knife overall. It's pretty big, pretty chunky, kind of heavy, and I feel like those are the reasons I don't really carry it. I've got other knives around the same size that I use as beaters. Ones that come to mind are the Cold Steel, this is Steel Will. This is the Cutjack. It's about the same size, but it's skinnier, fits in my pocket a little better. I like being able to choke up, so things like that. I feel like these are different knives in a lot of ways, very different. But the things that I kind of imagine needing the Feldspar for, I could use that one for. Another one is the Backlash. It's kind of a similar one. Civivi Backlash, if you're familiar with that. I just find that I prefer that one and the Steel Will to the Feldspar. So Feldspar is a cool knife, though. I'm actually really thinking about getting the Mini, which would probably make it in my pocket more often just because of the size. And then moving on here, we've got the CRKT Pilar. I'm not 100% sure that I'll get rid of this one. I do like it. But once again, I have a lot of knives, and as far as my small knives go, maybe one of my least carried. This one, same exact, along the same lines. So, Cold Steel, Tough Light. Cool, really cool knife. The design on this is very interesting. It like makes almost a half circle. Plenty of room to choke up. It's got a really nice utility Wharncliffe edge on there. And yeah, cool knife, but I have a lot of small knives. I don't really use these ones. So there you go. This is the Kizer Drop Bear. And actually one of my favorite EDC knives of all time. I really love this knife. I think the bar lock is excellent on this. This one is Arctic Storm Fat Carbon, which is a really cool design as well. So the story on this guy, like why am I getting rid of this knife that I love? Story on this is I bought the first, this is originally the one that I wanted, the Fat Carbon Arctic Storm. There's a lot of iterations of this knife, and it's tempting to buy all of them, but this was the one that I originally thought I wanted. It's Elmax Fat Carbon Toxic Storm, and then I actually couldn't find it anywhere, so instead I wound up grabbing, sorry I wasn't prepared with this stuff, I should have had these out, but I wound up grabbing the Toxic Storm Fat Carbon Drop Bear with the black 20 CV blade instead. And it wasn't the one I originally wanted, but I wound up really liking it. That Toxic Storm, I've fallen in love with this Toxic Storm Fat Carbon. I think I actually prefer it to the Arctic Storm now that I have both of them. And so kind of my intention with these, and I may still do it, was to Frankenstein them and swap out that Elmax blade in the 20 CV so that I'll have the Toxic Storm handles with the Elmax blade, which I think would be way cool. This is my only Elmax blade that I have, so I kind of wanted to keep it. Only problem is I actually bought this one used, and that it really needs a sharpening. I'm not great at sharpening, and I kind of think this has a small recurve in it. Maybe not, but the sharpening, I don't trust myself to, so if I decide to have someone professionally sharpen that Elmax blade for me, then I'll put it on this one, and we'll go from there. But anyway, so that's the reason that guy may be on the chopping block. Sencut Saxi. I think that's just kind of the common story with these Sencuts is I'm like, yeah, they're cool, they're great for the price, but I have other knives that I paid more for that I care about keeping more. So I'll probably just keep them. But this Saxi is really actually a banger for the budget. A lot of people call this their budget knife. Pick of I want to say the year. I don't know. I know a lot of people liked it a lot. Seems like maybe, did it come out the same year as the Pyrite? That one kind of, I think, ousted it in a lot of ways, but for the money, this is crazy good knife. The QSP Penguin, same kind of deal for a long time. It's like everybody's like, oh, this is the best budget knife you can get. It's been, I don't know, probably a couple of years now, but it's D2. Yeah, this is when D2 is all the rage. Deep carry, Gene Micarta, which is cool. I think the Gene Micarta is a pretty cool thing going on here. Once again, pretty good knife for the price, but I honestly just haven't loved it. Like, I feel like it just has not lived up to the hype for me. Maybe I need to try a different iteration of the Penguin. I don't know. There's a million of them. People seem to love them. It's not centered. It's like, I don't know. It feels, I don't know. I don't say this very often that a knife feels cheap. I don't know. Because, I mean, it is inexpensive, so it's like unfair to say, but I don't love it's like almost too easy to actuate this liner lock. It feels kind of flimsy that way. I don't know, just things like that have made me not love this guy all that much. So he'll probably go. Mini Sheepdog. This knife is really cool. There's a lot of Kizer designs I really like. I'm a huge fan of the way they do their micarta. So this one's supposedly 10V. And it's a banger of a deal for 10V, which is crazy. I've heard rumors that their 10V is just not great. I don't know. But to be honest, I don't hard to use my knife. Like, I don't use a lot of my knives enough to ever notice, you know what I mean? So I have so many of them, it's just like they all get rotated. This is a really cool knife. Love the design. You can't really get choked up on it, which is a pet peeve of mine on this one. It's really a 3-finger knife. And so I'm considering trying the full size sheepdog. I think it would be a really cool knife. But yeah, and I do carry this one every once in a while. I think it's way cool. That cleaver blade, black micarta, black handle, really good looking knife. I just don't use it a ton. Functionally, it's just not my favorite. So these two I just kind of have for fun, and I'm just like, never use these, so why keep them? Cold Steel Okapi, really neat idea. As ideas and just cool because it's got this crap. Now I'm not even gonna remember the name of this lock. This is a design that comes from Africa, and it's a very solid, like a very strong lock with this ring. And I mean, and then you have to close it, you have to actually, so it almost is like a fixed blade at this point, because it's like, it ain't going anywhere. And it's very hard to accidentally close this thing. So you gotta pull back on that ring and then begin closing it like that. So kind of a cool thing. This knife is way bigger than I thought it was gonna be. Like, I had no idea how huge it was when I bought it. This is another one that I ordered used, so it was really inexpensive, but I've never carried it, and I don't think I ever will. So for that reason, it's probably gotta go. Another Cold Steel SR1 light. It's another one. I didn't realize what I was getting into when I got this knife. This thing is enormous. Like, this is freaking insane. Shark among minnows here. It's like, let's compare it to the penguin. Like, you don't realize how big this knife is until you try to put it in your pocket or use it. It's hilarious. Like, it is just bordering on insanity, the size of this. It's like only Cold Steel, right? So I love that this knife exists, but I just have no use for it, so that's why it's gotta go. This thing is a freaking pocket sword. It's awesome. And it's, I don't know if it's supposed to do this or if it's just this one, but hold up. I'm not, okay, so no, it's hard to do this under the camera. But I'm not gonna use a thumb stud at all. You can actually just fling that thing open, just like that. And this gets scary. This thing will freaking chop your fingers closed when it closes. So, anyway, cool knife. I love that it is a thing. I'm just not using it, so it's gonna go. Anyway, that's our chopping block. I think I have 13 knives for January 2024. Those are the ones on the way out, and that's why. This is totally unedited, just going off the cuff here. So apologies for the crappy video. Maybe I'll get better at making videos eventually, but for now, this is what you get. And I enjoy it. So these ones are on the way out. Chopping block, January 2024. And this is Dallas from Rocky Mountain Carry, signing out.